Okay, now we look at the transport in kidney, that is secretion and reabsorptions. Okay, so first we'll start with glucose. As you all know, you don't want any glucose to be lost in urine, so precious for energy requirement of the body. So that is why it's 100% reabsorbed. Where? In PCT. Okay, in PCT. Now as we all know, 100% means what? You have to reabsorb even if single glucose is left in urine. That means going against the grain. That is what? It's active. And you know, glucose cannot use any pump directly, so it use the energy of sodium potassium pump. So that's why it is secondary active transport. It is secondary active transport. Secondary active transport called as sodium glucose symport. Okay, sodium glucose symport or SGLT, that is sodium glucose linked transporter. Sodium glucose linked transporter is SGLT. Okay. Now what does the SGLT, which is sodium glucose linked transporter, going to do or cause? So start now. First is this SGLT is on basically luminal border. Luminal border. So present on the luminal border. Okay, and it is of two types, SGLT1, SGLT2. One is mainly GIT because the glucose first come from the GIT to the blood and then filtered, so mainly GIT, and this is mainly kidneys. Okay, so that's why one is GIT, this was again asked in recent exam, and SGLT2 is in the kidney. Okay, and they both are in luminal border. Okay, what is there at the basolateral membrane? That is what I am going to explain. Okay, see, at basolateral we have GLUT2, which is facilitated diffusion. So basolateral membrane we have facilitated diffusion by GLUT2. GLUT2 was discussed very well in general physio also, and also in the topic of insulin, where I discuss all the GLUT 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so what is the simple summary? This is the lumen, this is the cell, PCT cell with brush border epithelial lining. Okay, so first is how do they enter the cell? They both enter the cell via sodium and glucose symport. Okay, so they enter, this is luminal border, so both sodium and glucose enter. Then they will both enter what? Here. So now this is GLUT2. It will make the glucose enter the blood. Where? In the blood. So that is how the glucose will enter the blood. Okay, fine. And it is also having the pump. Which pump? The sodium potassium pump, which is pumping 3 sodium out, which also enter the blood. Okay, and bringing potassium from blood, as we all know. So that is why this is primary active, this is primary active, and this is secondary active. So I'll write down. So this pump is primary active, is sodium potassium pump, and the SGLT2 is secondary active. Why? Because it depends on the ATP used by what transporter? Sodium potassium pump. Let me give a proof. If I block this, if I let's say block this pump, if I block, the sodium will stop going in the blood and accumulate in the cell. As sodium accumulate, it can't enter from the urine to the cell, and ultimately this will also stop. So this transporter depends on the energy of sodium potassium pump. So called as primary active is the pump and secondary is the sodium glucose symport. Okay. Next is we can transport anything within a limit, and that is called as Tmax. What is Tmax? Transport or tubular maximum. So what is Tmax? It is transport or tubular maximum. What is the meaning of the term Tmax, that is transport or tubular maximum is? So let me explain it. What do you mean by term Tmax or tubular maximums, right? First it is, right, it is maximum amount, it is maximum amount of a substance that can be secreted or reabsorbed per minute in the kidneys. Okay. So how much you can secrete or reabsorb in 1 minute is called as the Tmax. Okay. So it will be a Tmax for glucose, creatinine, all substances. Okay. So let's start. What is the Tmax for the glucose? So Tmax for glucose is given a name of TMG. Definition is the maximum amount of glucose that can be reabsorbed per minute. Now we know glucose is not secreted, so we can just say maximum amount of glucose that can be reabsorbed per minute in the tubules. Okay. What is the normal value? Normal is 375 milligram per minute is the value of the TMG, 375 milligrams per minute. Okay, 375. So if amount filtered from plasma is less than this, you will absorb it all. If more than this, you will lose it, causing glycosuria. So you need to know amount getting filtered, called as FL. What is FL? Filtered load. Definition: it is amount of substance getting filtered into tubules per minute. Okay. So it is the amount of substance which is getting filtered into tubules per minute is called as what thing? It is called as the filtered load. Is it clear? So it's called as the filtered load. Done. So how will you calculate it? Very easy. How much is the substance coming depends on how much plasma it is coming and how much the substance in that plasma. So formula is GFR into plasma concentration. So what is the formula? It is GFR into plasma concentration. Okay. So let us calculate normal FL for glucose. What is the value? Normal GFR is 125 ml per minute. So what is normal value of the FL of glucose? It is 125 ml per minute. Okay. You multiply with plasma concentration. So what is the plasma concentration? The plasma concentration we have is, let's say, normal is, let's say, 100 milligram percent. That means 100 milligram in 100 ml or 1 milligram in 1 ml. So if you solve it by this logic, 1 milligram per ml means what? You are having 1 ml contain 1 milligram. So 125 ml will contain 125 milligram. So value is 125 milligrams per minute. Okay. So is this more or less than the TMG? Is less. So that is why normal person TMG is higher than FL. So all glucose is absorbed. So 100% glucose absorption, reabsorption. So all the glucose is reabsorbed and no glycosuria can occur. Okay. Now at threshold, at renal threshold concentration. So at renal threshold concentration equal to 300 milligram percent. What happens to the FL? FL is again 125 ml per minute into 300 by 100 equal to what? See, at 100 you got what value? You got 125. At 300 you will get what? That is 3 milligram in 1 ml. You get what value? Yes, 375 milligram per minute. So now at threshold concentration of 300, the FL is almost 375. What happens? At RT, that is renal threshold RT, FL is equal to TMG. FL is equal to the TMG value. Okay, let me show it in diagram form. This is a tubule, glomerular capillary, efferent arteriole, afferent arteriole. This is the blood vessels. Okay, so this is glomerular capillaries. Okay, so GC, this is PC. So let's start. The blood glucose, let's say, is 300 milligram percent. How much? 300. So how much is filtered? FL 375 milligram per minute. So 375 milligram. Okay, how much you can reabsorb is TMG. Let's say 375. So how much is lost in urine? So out of 375, all is reabsorbed. 0 is the glucose in urine. So that means 100% reabsorb theoretically. So at this value you are absorbing all the glucose that is filtered. But if you cross the FL, right? Okay, so right above RT, or just right, if it become more than 300, you will be more than 375, and now FL is more than TMG. So देखो, if FL is more than TMG, now what happens? There would be positive glucose. So if FL is more than TMG, what happens? Glycosuria occur. Okay, glycosuria occur. What are the two reasons? Either there is a very high FL or there is a decreased absorptive power. So that is why two conditions cause glycosuria. Either too much glucose is there, so you can't reabsorb all, that is high FL, or glucose is filtered normally, normal rate 125 and 30, but you can't reabsorb well, tubular damage. So high FL is basically example diabetes mellitus, where too much load is there, and decreased TMG example is what? Is tubular lesion. Tubular lesion is what? Example is tubular lesion. Okay, also it is called as renal glycosuria because the problem is kidney. Renal glycosuria. Okay, like acute tubular necrosis, acute tubular necrosis, or Fanconi syndrome. Now Fanconi syndrome is a disorder where in the PCT, so the PCT defect, that's why glucose is lost, and what RT will occur if it is a yes, which yes, and it is associated with RTA2, that is proximal damage. Okay, so this is the PCT lesion. Okay, so in summary, how much is glucose at threshold? 300. If it filtered more than that, that is 375, you will have glycosuria. So that is called as RT. What is RT? Renal threshold. So definition, it is plasma concentration above which glycosuria starts. So plasma concentration above which glycose start appearing in urine is called as a glycosuria. Okay, that is FL more than TMG. What is the value? Now expected RT from the formula is 300 milligram percent. Remember, into GFR 3. But due to saturation of transporter, the actual is not this much. Actual RT is 180 to 200 milligram percent, called as splay, called as renal splay. Okay. Now there are multiple reasons, but one is the transporters are not always working to the maximum capacity, plus there is also so many effects of what, hormone, etc. So what is the reason? Mainly it is saturation, and also some is reversible binding which can be, so it's because of saturation of transporters, the GLUTs and the SGLTs at very high level, at high concentrations. Again same funda we discussed already in terms of clearance. So saturation occur which prevent complete absorption later on. So initially rate is very high, but as you go up the rate start to decrease, and therefore the saturation will reduce the rate of absorption of glucose, and the remaining glucose is lost in the urine, called as the splay. So saturation is causing the loss. Okay. Now amino acids are same as glucose, so you can just write a statement number 2, amino acids again 100% reabsorb in PCT by sodium amino acids import. Again they are what transport? Secondary active transport. They are what transport? Secondary active transport. Okay. So secondary active transport. Clear? So secondary active transport. Now number 3, we have acid secretion, that is H plus. How much? It is more than 4500 milli equivalent a day. So daily you secrete more than 45. Now more than 90% secretion in PCT. So more than 90% is secreted in which area? In the PCT, in the PCT by sodium hydrogen exchange, and less than 10% secreted in DT, mainly by I cells, proton pump. Okay. So that is what we have discussed already. Acidification, no acidification, RTAs, RTA 2, RTA 1, we discuss all. Okay. Then we see number 4, bicarbonate. So first bicarb is again more than 90% reabsorb in PCT with help of carbonic anhydrase. Okay. So what is the substance here? Yes, the carbonic anhydrase is the substance. So with the help of what thing? Carbonic anhydrase. What value? More than 90% and less than 10% reabsorb in DT, distal tubule. Okay. Clear? And Ca, less Ca in DCT and almost nil in CD. So carbonic anhydrase is mainly in PCT, brush border epithelium. Very little is in DCT and almost nil in collecting duct. Question. So CD has almost nil carbonic anhydrase. So it can't acidify well because the buffer. So it can't buffer very well because the enzyme is deficit. Okay. Now what is the function of bicarb? I told already. So bicarb is a buffer, help maintain pH, also increase bicarb cause what? Increase sodium reabsorption by sodium bicarbonate import. Okay. So by what thing? Sodium bicarb import. Okay. Sodium bicarb import. Okay. Now we see number 5, potassium. It is the only ion which is both secreted and reabsorbed. So only ion which is both secreted and reabsorbed. Where is it secreted? Obviously P cells in dt. So P cells in dt, and reabsorption max PCT, and others also reabsorb. So that's why bulk of the potassium that is filtered is reabsorbed in PCT, and if it is coming in urine, so that is urine potassium. So urine potassium source. So bulk of the urine potassium is secreted by the distal tubule P cells. Okay. Number 6, urea. Again it is both secreted and reabsorbed. Why? Counter current system, both. So that is why no Tmax calculable. Why? We don't know how much is absorbed and how much reabsorbed. So we get a single value from the urine and plasma value, and that is not telling you how much is the actual secretion reabsorption. So if they ask which substance is no Tmax, answer is urea. It was difficult to calculate. Now where is it secreted? The thin loop of Henle. Okay, and reabsorb where? Max PCT, max is PCT, and also CD by ADH. And help in what system? Counter current system. Help counter current system. Okay. Now write number 7. 7 we see in this case is chloride. Now it just follows sodium. That means wherever whatever sodium, same amount of chloride you can say are being reabsorbed. Number 8 is sodium itself. So first, more than 99% of filtered sodium is reabsorbed. So how much is reabsorbed? 99%, and that is called as glomerular balance. That is, you always reabsorb around 19%. That is called as, is not tubular, is glomerular balance of sodium. How much? 99%. So that means if there is higher filtration of sodium because of blood concentration, still you will reabsorb 19%. So the amount that is absorbed is not absorbed 100%, 19%, but it is almost depending on the level filtered. Okay. How much is lost? Less than 1% of filtered sodium is lost in urine, called as FeNA, called as FeNA plus, that is FeNA, fractional excretion of sodium. So what is FeNA plus? It is fractional excretion of sodium. Normal value less than 1%. Tubular damage you can't reabsorb, so it will be changed. So right. If tubular lesion, increase FeNA plus more than 1%. So FeNA more than 1% indicate what? You are not able to reabsorb it completely properly in the body. So now the FeNA is more than 1%. Okay. Now write the site and the percentage sodium reabsorb. So write percentage sodium reabsorb, site, and main mechanism, and I am going to discuss mainly luminal mechanisms. So main mechanism. So start now. First 60 to 70% is reabsorbed in the PCT. Transport is sodium hydrogen exchange. 20 to 25% is loop of Henle. Mechanism is sodium potassium 2 chloride symport. Okay. So sodium potassium 2 chloride symport. Then next is how much? 8 to 10% is DCT, that is sodium chloride symport, and 3 to 4% is CD by epithelial sodium channels P cells. fine, and these are all what transporters, they are apical or luminal. Who is there at basolateral? The basolateral for all is same. Who's the main? Sodium potassium pump, which I discussed already in P cell. Basolateral, sodium potassium pump, okay, sodium potassium pump, okay. Last we see is the water. So let's see the water, number 9. First, how much is filter load? So you know how much water is filtered? 1 liter plasma is 1 liter water roughly, because bulk of the plasma is water. So that's why the amount of water filtered is same as GFR. So how much? 180 liter a day is filtered. So how much is filtered? 180 equal to GFR, equal to GFR. What are the two divisions? Two divisions. More than 99 to 99.5% is reabsorbed, and less than 0.5 to 1% is excreted in urine, okay. So less than 0.5 to 1% excreted in urine. Can you convert to number? See, what is 1%? 180, 1.8, and half is 0.9. So 0.9 to 1.8 liter a day, or 1 to 2 liter a day is what? Is normal urine volume. How you got this? Just taking 1% of the total value that you are able to, yes, make in urine, okay. So the normal urine 1 to 2, okay. Now let's see what are the sites and the area this is getting absorbed. So see, first is site and percentage water reabsorbed. So first I will start with PCT, same as sodium. Why? Because it follows sodium, 60 to 70%, loop of Henle 20-25%, okay. And now write DCT without ADH, without ADH is 5 to 8%. So that means how much water is independent of ADH? This much, is approximately equal to 88 to 90%, 88 to 90%. So that means 80 to 90% water can be reabsorbed without ADH. That is why it is called as what? Facultative water reabsorption, sorry, obligatory water reabsorption, because you have to reabsorb it. So obligatory water reabsorption, okay. So obligatory water reabsorption, okay, fine. So how much ADH control? So ADH control 10 to 12% water in distal tubule, mainly CD. So it control 10 to 12% water in distal tubule, mainly CD, called as facultative water reabsorption. So called as facultative water reabsorption. How much is? 180, 10% is 18 to 20 liter a day. So how much is the water ADH control out of 180 of filtered? 18 to 20 liters. So that is what the hypothetical water ADH is controlling. Now listen, you all know ADH is acting on CD and CD passes through medulla. So let me make a diagram if you remember this. Let us say this is DCT, which is around 100 milliosmol per liter. So it is approximately 100, okay. This is, let us say, cortex and this medulla. So as you all know, medulla is 400, cortex is 3, then this is 800, 1200. So if ADH is available, it will be water permeable. if available, and the water will be absorbed where? Into the medulla, water. And as water is pulled out, the urine will become hypertonic, let us say 300, 400, 8, ultimately 1200, same as medulla. And what kind of urine would be formed? Same as medulla, 1200 milliosmol per liter. So that is why in the medulla, when the MCD, this is what area? This is CCD and this one is MCD. So when medullary and collecting cortical duct are passing through the cortex and medulla, if aid is available, the water would be reabsorbed, and the water is continuously reabsorbed till it become same as outside, that is 1200. So you will make what urine? Hypertonic urine. So what happens? Water reabsorb, okay, and concentrated urine formed, okay, almost equal to medulla. So remember, medulla is always hyper, trying to pull the water continuously, but whether it will pull or not pull depends on what? ADH. If water goes, urine will become 1200. If no ADH, the water won't be reabsorbed, and ultimately the urine will either remain 100, might become even 50 because of some salt absorption. And what happens? You will make a urine which is 50, that is hypotonic. So what decide water will go to medulla or not? ADH level. If available, water reabsorb, concentrated hypertonic urine. If not available, hypotonic urine. Okay. So let's make a table to show this. ADH present, ADH absent, that is diabetes insipidus. Diabetes insipidus. Okay. So first it is water permeable, CD. So DT is water permeable, here it is not permeable. So what happens? Increase water reabsorption, here it is decrease. So what happens to urine? It become, yes, hypertonic, here hypotonic. How much? 1200, here just 50 to 100, okay, 50 to 100. And lastly what happens? There will be decrease low urine volume, almost 500 ml is the minimum we can make. Here it will be high volume. It would be high volume, and since high volume, okay, can cause polyuria, polydipsia, all classical features, increased thirst. And finally, since it contains high salts, it is hypertonic and also heavy. So high specific gravity, and here it will be low gravity. Why? Because of less salt in the urine, it will be a light urine in this case. Okay. So in simple language, what is happening? Medulla is always hyper, but whether the urine will become concentrated or not depends on ADH. If it is available, you will concentrate, save the water. If not, lose the water. So write a statement, simple. Range of urine osmolality is 50 to 1200 milliosmol per liter, and what depends on? Mainly ADH. Here ADH is absent, here ADH is present. So that is why who decide hyper hypo? ADH and also medulla. So that is why depend on ADH. Medulla is there, counter current system, but ADH is deciding the value. Okay. So last line you can just add site and urine osmolarity, site, urine tonicity. So first is PCT, we know isotonic urine. Then which area? Yes, we have the, yes, the descending loop, it drinks water, if you remember, that make it hypertonic. Then ascending loop and DCT is what value? Hypotonic. tonic. Why? Because of water absorption. So ascending loop and DCT is hypotonic because of salt absorption, and CD, the answer is tricky. It depends on ADH. Depend on ADH. Two versions are possible, available, not available. If available, hypertonic. If not available, hypo. So in simple language, who decide water will be hyper? ADH will decide hypo or hyper. Is it clear? So with this we'll finish this topic. Okay. Now anything you want to be taught, okay, some I will update based on the request I have already received, some I will give after you people send me more and more requests. Okay, clear? And anything you require will be updating it with time, and it require lots of effort to record this video, because not just like taking a live class, you have to see everything, go through it. That will take long time for a video to be uploaded. So be patient. Okay, don't get upset and start criticizing the entire process. Okay, so anything new will keep updating it and will come very soon onto your apps. Clear? So any doubt you keep in touch with me, I'll help you whatever way is possible. Okay, thank you.